Hello again and welcome back to the Book of Brett and another episode of Manic Movie Reviews. Before we get into this review, I just want to invite anybody that has not subscribed to the channel to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really does mean a lot and it really does help the channel grow. If you are new to the channel, these are movie reviews that I try to do as consistently as possible, but as I've mentioned in previous videos, I do have a pretty busy schedule with a lot of the videography and photography that I do. But today we are going to be reviewing 2021's Aftermath. This is a movie starring Ashley Greene and Shawn Ashmore. Shawn Ashmore you might know as Bobby Drake, aka Iceman from the X-Men movies. And this review, I'm just going to warn you right now, there are going to be spoilers in this review because you're just not going to be missing much. Basically, the movie is about a young couple that's moving into a home after the wife has had an affair and they're kind of trying to rekindle their relationship. So right off the bat, this is not something that I could really relate to. It really took away from the empathy for these characters for me, because I'll tell you right now, if I get cheated on, there's no working on it afterwards. Maybe you can, I know I can't. But they end up moving into this house where they end up getting a great deal on the house, of course, because like most things in this movie, it's just one trope after another. And so they end up moving in, and shortly after moving in, things start to kind of go south. Now, the majority of this movie is spent convincing you that it is a haunted house movie, which really makes the end of this movie a giant you to the audience. And there are more than a few instances where they were really trying to drive home the haunted house kind of vibe. The entirety of the movie up until the very end, there's a lot of stuff that happens that basically convinces you this is a haunted house story. We get a scene where she's being chased around the house when she's home alone. She runs into the bedroom, and when she goes to open the door, there's bookcases blocking the doorway. And then somehow this entity just makes its way into the bedroom, like a ghost would. There's also a big part of this movie where security cameras get set up and they're installed in the home, and they never ever catch a glimpse of this guy that is invading their house. They even show camera footage from the night that she's running around and she gets trapped inside of her own house and she has to jump out the pool. You never see this guy, even though he moves an entire bookcase and he's pounding on the door. This would all work really well because if it was a ghost, you can just say, oh, the ghost manipulated the video. But it's basically revealed at the end that the guy that is living inside the walls of this house was living there on purpose. The house was custom built by the wife to be able to allow him to basically live in the house within the walls and still maintain their affair. By all accounts, from what I can tell from the details we're given in this movie, this is basically a normal guy, a functioning human being, and we're supposed to believe that he is in his right mind and is going to go, yes, I'm going to live within the walls of the house if it means I get to continue this affair. Who in their right mind is going to live within the walls of a house just to be able to have an affair? It's lunacy. It doesn't make any sense. It's completely off the wall ridiculous. It's not that these things are, it could be a person, it could be a ghost. No, these things are presented as if there is a ghost living in the house. And then you find out that, nope, that's not it. It was just a guy having an affair who chose to live within the walls of a house, never seeing the light of day, never coming out, and holding an affair. It's ridiculous. Natalie's sister is that really annoying character who basically just supports any bad decision that her sister, good friend, best friend, whatever you want to call it, is making. She's just there to give her support and tell her, oh, it was okay. It basically, anybody would have done the same thing. There are also more than a few scenes in this movie where the audio is completely out of sync with what they're saying. So much so, in fact, it happens in the very first scene. It's so noticeable that at first I thought this was a dubbed movie. And now I will say this did have a very low budget feel to it. The way it looks on screen is not bad as far as the actual aesthetic to it, but there's nothing really great about the lighting here, about the camera movements. It's all very, like most of this movie, very basic run of the mill. I feel like that's really how you can describe most of this movie, is just basic. It relies on a lot of tropes. There's not a lot going on as far as behind the scenes. The acting, although not awful, is really nothing to write home about. And so a lot of this movie is just very basic, run-of-the-mill horror. It's more suspense than horror. They kind of make you try to believe that it's a horror movie because there's supposed to be a ghost in the house, but that's not the case at all. It's a suspense movie, and not a very good suspense movie either. I really don't know what they were going for here. It seems like they really wanted to make a ghost movie, but then they really wanted to give it this twist ending, and so they went with the home invasion thing, which again could make sense had they not spent such an astronomical amount of time making it seem like a ghost movie. And so that's why I say the movie does feel like just one big giant you to the audience. But anyway, folks, that is going to do it for me today. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you did like the episode, throw me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, throw me a thumbs down. It's not going to hurt my feelings. And please leave comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys thought about this movie if you've already seen it. I'd love to know if you think I'm saving you time by not watching it. And if you do have any movie suggestions, leave those down below, and I'd love to get around to watching those and reviewing them. But until next time, I will see you guys later.